fly out on a private aircraft with her entourage.
Buckingham Palace won't provide specifics other than to say a small administrative team of permanent staff will support the Queen during her hectic 11-day schedule. Author and long-time royal watcher Charles Mosley says it will number at least 20.
It's a bit like a rock star tour.
Speaking of rock stars, according to our royal watchers, the Queen's entourage will include ladies in waiting to handle flowers, cards and gifts during her walkabouts, a personal dresser to select daily outfits, and the Queen's hairdresser.
This depends on if you have a Mac or a PC. I would recommend
for us Brits.
PC.
And I suspect that it needs special attention by somebody versed in that very elegant wave, which has rather fallen out of fashion.
One Australian will be making the trip with the Queen. Navy Commander Andrew Willis has been in London training for his role as Australian equerry, her personal attendant on the tour. Palace staff know exactly what it takes to send the Queen off to Australia. This is, after all, the 16th visit since 1954, and most of the British media expect it to be her last.
Now that's not being officially confirmed by Buckingham Palace, obviously, but the Queen's travel is getting less and less.
More and more reason for Aussie royal fans to give Her Majesty a fond farewell. In London, Daniela Rotorto, 10 News.
The Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne has welcomed quite an entertaining group of furry new friends. 9 meerkats have moved into an enclosure in the specialist clinics area, and it's hoped the antics of the new residents will bring a smile to the many young patients.
This is just a magnificent way to make things fun, at least take away or help.
Performance multivitamin that can help. It's a unique blend of vitamins, minerals and natural ginseng, specially developed to support concentration, clarity and stamina. So if you're aged 50 plus and want one multivitamin to help enhance your mental agility and physical stamina, try new Barocca Focus 50 Plus. What's new when you see it first?
It's a beautiful day. I can't think of a better way to spend the weekend.
Epic in every way. It meant a lot to me because I suffered from hair and I could give something back.
Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. You can do it.
Join thousands of riders and make an impact. The Rio Tinto Ride to Conquer Cancer, benefiting the Queensland Institute of Medical Research. A 2-day cycling adventure for all abilities on an improved route with fewer climbs to Wivenhoe. Register today at 1300 11 RIDE or conquercancer.org.au.
At BOQ, our branches are owned and run by local owner managers. We're not just bankers, we're small business owners too. So our customers really do mean everything to us. We get to know you and your story, which is important when it comes to your home loan. And so is a great rate.
So if you
With
help
the
them,
home loan privileges package,
you keep it in your stuff.
1% per annum off for the first 2 years, and then 0.7% per annum off for the remaining life of the loan. So wake up to a great rate every day with BOQ.
What if there was a car that gave you room to change your mind? Happily, the Honda Jazz has magic seats that fold no less than 18 different ways, giving you loads of room for the things and the people you love. The Honda Jazz. It's style meets versatile. What's next?
Tonight, you will all go to bed and lay your head on that pillow you've loved for so long. But over time, your pillow grows an entire ecosystem made up of your dead skin cells and the things that feed on them. The older it is, the worse it gets. It's why at Tontine, we stamp our pillows with the date we think you should change them, so you'll know when they're fresh or not so fresh anymore.
Tonight's headlines. Tens of thousands of passengers to pay the price as the Qantas industrial campaign forces hundreds of flights to be cancelled.
The Australian pilot injured in PNG's worst air tragedy is flown home to Queensland.
And police and fans clash on Adelaide streets as football rivalry turns violent.
The government's Malaysian solution sank before it even set sail this week, but with the political battle still raging, 10's Jonathan Lee went on assignment and asked two of our newest and proudest Australians why they risked it all.
Australia's political landscape is a battleground of policies, principles and prejudices. And while issues may change, every fight has a human face. Nazir Rezai is that face.
Australians quite cool. Now I understand that I'm living a free people.
Nearly 18 months ago, he arrived by boat to be placed in detention. The only things of value he brought were memories and skills.
First in Christmas Island for primary security and healthcare checks. After that, they transferred me to Curtin Detention Center, and it takes about 1 year and 3 days.
Simple numbers are remembered because they've taken their toll, similar to the broken bones he suffered when beaten by the Taliban.
Detention center is a lot of stress. Even when I never go in my whole life to a police station, so how can I survive? How can I spend my days in a detention center like a jail? But this is not the way.
As a refugee case manager, Nikki Wynn is the first stop and the last call for help.
People really want the same things that Australians want. They want employment, they want to contribute, they want to look after their family.
They want security.
They want security.
Last year, Australia settled 13,770 refugees. Labor hoped its Malaysian swap deal would stem the tide, but without the numbers in the lower house, its policy is dead in the water. Now asylum seekers will be processed on the mainland, many in the community.
They want to see more votes. They want to put out a welcome mat.
The opposition's always maintained the Howard government's specific solution is still the answer.
I think the best and the most humane way to deal with this issue is to reopen the centre in Nauru.
That's exactly where Abdul Ghaznawari ended up in 2002.
Still have nightmare from that condition.
He claims conditions at Nauru were so poor, fresh water was a luxury.
We washed our body, shower, did shower with the salt water, we washed our clothes with salt water, everything was with the salt water, with the sea water.
After 3 applications, he was finally granted a permanent visa, but remains angry at politicians.
They trying to make refugees as their soccer ball to play with refugees to win election.
15 of those he shared detention with have died since returning to Afghanistan. It's a similar fear Nazir has for his family.
I hide them somewhere else in Pakistan, sometime in Iran, sometime in Pakistan, but nobody knows about them.
For an issue with such complexity, in Australia, the asylum debate